So you wanna go to war with me? You're talking like you think you're royalty. You think that I'm afraid, but I don't break. I heard you question my stability. You think I fall just like a guillotine, but I am here to stay. Won't look away. Storms coming, so you better start running. No, you can't control it. My bones, I'm coming for it. I'm coming for the throne. I'm coming for the throne. So you wanna be my enemy? You should've known I never kissed the rain. Ice runs in my veins. We'll play it safe. I don't belong with your nobility. Who died and made you king of anything? You think that I'm insane? It's your mistake. Kingdoms rise and fall. I come to take it all. I'll take it. I'll come to take it. Kingdoms rise and fall. I come to take it all. I'll take it all. Storms coming, so you better start running. No, you can't control it. My bones, I'm coming for it. I'm coming for the throne. I'm coming for the throne.
Let's go. Yeah. I'm like an addict, do I gotta have it. I ain't even playing, got a really bad habit. If it moves, gotta grab it. Fuse like a magnet, lose, won't have it till I'm doomed in a casket. I ain't playing, got a weird mind. If you work 8 hours, I'ma work 9. If the shit tastes sour, you should taste mine. I'ma stay in power for a long time. Get up, nah, I ain't a quitter. Toss me the ball, I'm a really big hitter. Big picture, I'm a straight killer. Rising the song to the highest bidder. Got juice, got gas, I'ma move fast. New shoes, new tracks, like who's that? I'm new, come back, better than last. Yeah, it's a new me, never gonna look back. Never gonna look back. Cause damn, I was built to last. You move slow and I move fast, and that's facts. Only I can make a change. Slowly take a step today. I will never be the same, cause that's what it takes.
All right, y'all. Happy Sunday, March 8th. Welcome back. It is still my birthday month. And today we're going to do a little bit of talk about movies that we saw this weekend. I do have right over here to my left a Big Arch burger and a Whopper. We're going to do a double Whopper so that they're the same. I haven't eaten since breakfast, so I'm going to do a little taste test. For those, I went and had breakfast this morning, big breakfast, eggs Benedict and one pancake with my oldest son. You guys probably know I have two grown boys. One is a doctor and one is finishing up his master's in accounting, soon to be in the world of finance. And then we have a third son on the way, due here in 19 days or sooner, depending on when he decides to show up. So my oldest son came from out of state. He was in town for the weekend. We were trying to get together for dinner last night. That didn't work out, so we had brunch this morning, and I was full all day until right now. I'm absolutely starving. So we did a taste test for the Beyond Meat burger back in the heyday when Beyond stock was kind of crazy. I thought today might be a fun day because the Big Arch, and this has been big on social media, might be fun just to do a side-by-side comparison of the Big Arch versus the Whopper. And cheers to you. Happy weekend, everybody. Oil prices are up. We'll get into that. We'll talk about Hoppers, The Bride, Peaky Blinders, The Immortal Man limited release. I had to struggle to find that movie. And I think that's the first movie I have not seen in an AMC theater since 2021. Believe it or not. AMC's not showing Peaky Blinders and continuing their hard stance against Netflix. How dare you do a 5-day release? Well, speaking of AMC, I shared this with the Discord in the middle of the week. This magic blue line. When we originally shared it, we were down here at the trough, and I said, I don't normally do this. This is just for entertainment. But I pulled a bars pattern from the Q1 equity offering a year ago, and I mapped it over what's going on right now. And wouldn't you know, it followed this big move down, and then pretty close the decline as the company's selling shares. And Goldman Sachs is shorting for their initial hedging period. Yeah, I know, the price goes down. That's an equity offering. The company and Goldman are both selling shares, so this is why we've been talking about equity raises well in advance. Everybody's running around on social media. I don't understand why the price is going down. Man, how have you not learned that in 5 years? Anyways, I said, wouldn't it be funny if this pattern continues and we go up 10% over the next couple days? And look what happened. Boom. And then I said on Thursday, wouldn't that be funny if on Friday it goes back down following this blue bars pattern? And sure enough, it did. So here we are Friday. What happens after this? Will this bar pattern continue to still be valid? Boy, I would be shocked and surprised. I don't know. This is just entertainment for me, pulling a bars pattern from a year ago and trying to map it over current action. I don't generally think that mapping previous algos or bars is useful as a tool. But man, I tell you what, if we follow this all the way down to $1, we'll have something to talk about by March 23rd. Whether or not it does, I think really is dependent on if AMC finishes their equity offering. And I put together a little spreadsheet for you guys, for my Discord mostly, and for me, because you guys probably know I'm waiting to go long on AMC. Been waiting 15 months since I exited the trade, and I exited for a couple reasons. The company was running out of shares. There was going to be a vote. 2025 box office wasn't quite where we wanted. And then that took us all the way to Q1 equity raise. And, you know, I don't like to be in front of an equity raise. I prefer to come in after. So it's been a long ass wait, but I think we're getting close. And I wanted to try and calculate when would this equity raise be over. Let me put this up on the screen here. I'm just trying to get to the right tab. This is maybe interesting for some of you that are data nerds like me. Let's go, not full screen cam one. Let's go here. So this was Q1 2025. This is right now. The company back then did a 50 million share offering, which raised about $181 million. This time, instead of doing 50 million shares, they said $150 million. Slightly less cash needed this year because the box office will be slightly better. So 150 is what they forecast they needed to cover the cash burn in Q1. Last year it was 180. Last year the volume, I generally think of equity offering as daily sales above the VWAP at about 10% of the daily or weekly volume until they raise enough money. Let me state that again in case you hadn't heard it. This is my general rule. It's not always exact, and we'll show where it wasn't exact here, but generally I think of 10% of daily volume when it's above the daily VWAP until they reach their desired amount of cash raise. Now, this year and last year are a little bit difficult because to predict, because we have the introduction of the forward collar, the agreement with Goldman Sachs, where Goldman sells shares short during the offering, during the initial hedging period, and then they buy or sell during the forward contract period, however long that is, 30, 60, 90, 180 days. And then at the end of the contract, AMC gives them the shares and they close out their short and their hedge. There's a lot of weird dynamics, and I don't pretend to understand all of them, just the general way that it works. Shorting in the beginning, expect that. After that, a little bit harder to judge the buys and the sells to maintain the hedge. 426 million volume we went through in 6 weeks back in 2025. And that's what it took to raise $181 million. If you add up the number of shares, 17 million only were offered at the market, and 30 million last year were offered through the forward. So only about, I think I calculated 4% of the volume was at the market last year. That's interesting to me. That's a lot lower than I would have expected. This year, we got a press release from AMC on February 23rd with the quarterly results from Q4. And in the press release, they noted that by February 23rd, they had sold for this year 20 million shares, raising $26 million, 26.2. And that was about 8% of the volume for those 2 weeks. 7.8. I just estimated how many they sold. This is just estimated. We know that they raised 26.2 million, and we know that it was 20 million shares, but I don't know the split. This is just my guess. And so I said, okay, if it was on average 8% a week, let's carry that forward. And if we go back last year and say the at-the-market offering covered 36% of the total offering, and the rest was done on a forward, if we use that same 35% of 150 million, we should be done by this offering by this week. Because they will have raised, well, I need to add Friday's volume in here, but 35% of 150 million is what, 52 million? We're almost there by my best guess, 48 million as of Thursday. So I'll be very curious if that holds up. It's really hard for me to calculate this stuff with any certainty. This is all just fun conversation because I don't know what percentage they're going to raise at the market versus a forward. Andrew, good afternoon, good evening. Bewigged Coffee, howdy, howdy. What else we got in here? Option Trader, good evening to you. So that's kind of where I'm at, you know. I don't want to buy if I think that it's going down to $1, but I would be very interested in knowing that the ATM is done. And this will be my second data point. Let me put myself back on screen. This will be my second data point, 2025 being the first, where I observe a equity offering that was a combined ATM and forward contract. And so we learned something last year, but one data set is not enough to be certain about anything. It's one data point. This is data point 2. And so that's why I made that little spreadsheet. That's why I'm kind of, for scientific purposes, if I ever got to go through this again, trying to estimate what is likely to happen, trying to improve my timing, improve my trading, improve the potential in a very speculative trade that I might be able to get an edge. It's important to track this stuff. Social media is going crazy. Why is Tony even worrying about AMC stock? He doesn't own it. Because if you're not paying attention, you're not going to know when the right time to come into the stock is. But the bears say there's never a right time. He's going to reverse split. Bankruptcy is imminent. I haven't seen any reverse split notification. There is no imminent bankruptcy risk. They just push the 2027 maturities to 2031. They're raising enough cash. That means they have the lender's support. Push maturities. They're raising enough cash right now with the equity offering to bridge them through a cash burn in Q1. Q2 through Q4 expected to be really good. Look at this box office for the entire year. 9.5 billion is a reasonable estimate from Box Office Theory. Q1's going to be low right here, 1.6 billion. You already knew that if you're listening to me. That's right in line with where I'm at. I am only going to get a good entry on this trade if I'm paying attention. No bankruptcy risk in the short term, in my opinion. Why? Why would they bankrupt? They're going to get through Q1 fine. Q2 through Q4 box office are going to be great unless something happens we can't anticipate. 9.5 billion, some think 10.3. Analysts, what's it, Gower Street or Grower Street has a 10.3 billion forecast. I don't know. 9.5, 10.3, that's a pretty big window, but there's not imminent bankruptcy risk. That is emotional people or people pushing a bearish narrative. You guys know I don't do that. I just tell you the hard facts you don't want to hear. When the vote happened, good Lord. At 230, I mean, the price has fallen 50%. I've been telling you guys exactly what was going to happen. But that's not me being bearish. That's just using common sense. And I don't like to see my portfolio go in the red every day. So you'll have to forgive me if you're a diamond hander and you think that sitting out and protecting your capital is bearish. Look, we're never going to disagree. We can still sit around and have a beer, but I have a family to provide for, and I don't like to lose money. So I'm going to sit out until I think the moment's right. And I think there will be a moment where we have an edge. If the company doesn't rug pull us with a unexpected reverse split announcement, even if they do, it's not going to happen immediately. They'll have to schedule a vote, and that'll be 60 days out. We'll have time to react. But I think there'll be a moment when this equity offering and forward collar are done, where some of us that have been sitting on the sideline, many of us, are sitting on the sideline waiting for a more risk-free entry ahead of the box office improving. I think that's just smart trading. If you don't like smart trading, this is not the channel for you. This is not a diamond hand, buy every day at any price channel on any ticker, Not AMC, not GameStop, not Tesla, nothing. Buy when it is intelligent to do so, when you have a chance of the stock going up. We aren't running a corporate charity here, ladies and gentlemen. We're looking to improve our lives, improve our portfolios, improve our trading success. Box office this weekend. Hopper's coming in. I had forecast between 40 and 50 million. I said anything over 40 would be a win. People told me, Tony, it's gonna go over 60 easy. You're being too pessimistic. No, I put a lot of time in every day looking at box office forecasts, watching trailers, searching data sites, not talking to. I wish I had experts to talk to, but looking at what experts are saying, looking at pre-sales. I had said between 40 and 50. Anything over 40 was pop the champagne. 46 is good. Scream had a huge knockdown in the number of tickets sold this weekend compared to last weekend. That's to be expected. And The Bride, I had said, could do 18 million. And man, people did not want to see this movie. And the ones that did go see it did not like it. Now, it's kind of a boring week in terms of movies that I haven't seen yet. So I'm not saying I won't go see this one, but it's not high on my list. I don't want to go see sorry, ladies. I don't want to go see a feminism movie about the Bride of Frankenstein. And I certainly don't want to see it in March. Like, why couldn't you save this shit for October? Hoppers, we did go see that this weekend. I would say it was well done. It was entertaining. The characters were funny. It's, animation movies aren't really my thing unless there's a lot of adult jokes woven in. Something like a Toy Story. But this, for families with kids, this is a fine movie. And I'm glad it did really well. And then we saw Hoppers on Thursday. And then last night we went to go see Peaky Blinders, the continuing saga of Thomas Shelby. And what's this guy's name? Barry Keoghan. I'm sorry, Barry. Barry K as the Duke, Duke. Tommy's son, now grown up, 6 years down the road from where season 6 ended. And we're in the middle of World War II. Germans bombing Birmingham really happened. Birmingham was a industrial city, a lot of military production going on in real life. And so the Germans, it was the third most attacked city in the UK, from what I recall. That was going on in this movie. And how is the Shelby family dealing with that? And what has happened in the last 6 years? I'm not going to give you any spoilers because Cillian Murphy came on before the movie started and said, please don't spoil the movie by order of the Peaky Blinders. It does come out on Netflix on March 20th. The movie was good if you're a fan of the Peaky Blinders. I would say, you better have watched seasons 1 through 6 to have a real understanding of what's going on in this movie, for it to be meaningful to you. You could go in and watch the movie, but you're not going to catch a lot of the real meaning behind everything that's going on in this movie if you haven't watched the series. So I have been prepping. I watched Peaky Blinders when it was popular, and then we rewatched it over the past couple weeks. Very much fit the look and the style of the TV series. And one thing that really hit me, being able to see it on the big screen, was the sound. The booms of the forges, the booms of the bombs falling, the air sirens, the music, the soundtrack. At times it was almost overwhelming, the sound. And my wife was constantly like, what did he say? What did he say? Because you got this heavy soundtrack on top of a little bit of mumbling, as they do, and just the dialect and the slang that they use. Sometimes it's hard for her to pick up on that stuff. Even me, I was like, I don't know, let's watch the next scene and see if we can figure out what he said. Other than that massive sound, for me, I really enjoyed it. I'm glad. I wish Netflix would do more of this stuff, and I wish they'd make peace with AMC and do a longer window so that everybody had the chance to see this sort of stuff. Box office. Go Wuthering Heights, Crime 101, Send Help. All of these are kind of going down. This weekend coming up is going to be kind of slow, guys. I'm just telling you right now. There's not anything really, people are trying to say Undertone. Undertone's not going to do that good. But next weekend after that, when we get down to the, I'm going to go see Undertone for sure. I like horror movies. Project Hail Mary on March 20th. That's what we have to look forward to. That's going to be a big movie. I wish it was earlier in the month, but it is what it is. I would like to get all of that revenue in Q1 for everybody. But we got 2 weekends with Project Hail Mary. What do I have it at? Q1 2026. I haven't updated this with this weekend's numbers yet, but the Bride I had doing 130. I already know that's not gonna happen. 30 million, no. Hoppers I have at 105. We're at 43, 45 right now. It'll probably, it's not gonna hit 105. Probably not. Undertone I have at 15 million. Project Hail Mary I have at 180 million with a 60 million expected 3-day opening weekend. I know some of y'all are going to say those numbers are way too low. I hope they are way too low, but I don't go on social media to pump you guys up with what I want, what I wish. I go, if I'm predicting numbers, it is because that is what I reasonably and actually believe is likely to happen. And we're pretty damn close most of the time. I think the last 2 big misses that I had in the last 5 years was the first Mario movie. I just completely, because it was an animation, I completely underestimated that. That was a learning moment. I take those moments on board and try and do better next time. And then I underestimated Barbie. But those are good. We we love to be blown away. So if Project Hail Mary can do 200, 250, 300 million, hey, let's go. I think we're still on track for a 1.6 billion Q1. We're at what? 1.25 right now. 1.25, and we have 1, 2, 3 weekends left. Our average weekend has been, for the last 3 weeks, 60, 188 million, around, let's just call it 80 million. This weekend coming up is going to suck, March 13th. So we got 2 good weekends with Project Hail Mary. I think 1.6 billion is very reasonable. Not impossible to hit, and not overselling what Q1 is going to do. Anya says the Idea Lab shares lots of tickers that are more interesting to me. Yeah, the Idea Lab is our affectionate name for the Discord. The Discord is free, ladies and gentlemen. You can opt for a paid membership for more complete access to support the channel and the content we provide here. If you actually like content that tells you what's going to happen before it happens and has a very high degree of being accurate. If you don't want to support that, if you prefer the hopium nonsense that gets pushed on social media, don't join the Discord. There is no hopium in the Discord. It is real, usable information. But the Discord is free, basic access. I made the AMC room free. These people on social media, Tony wants you to join his paid Discord. It's free, motherfuckers. Come see. But don't bring your nonsense and your meme shit here. We don't care about that. We're trying to actually make money. All right. The big arch. I weighed this before we started here. It weighed just over 10 pounds without the box. And I have side by side here the Burger King. I got a double Whopper. I thought the Whoppers, they were redoing them, that they would come in a box too, but apparently not. And we'll get to that in a second. This one is much heavier, 13 ounces, something like that. 2 meat patties. As you probably know, if you've seen the McDonald's CEO talking about his product, that was pretty funny. We got 2 meat patties, 3 slices of white cheddar, sesame seed and poppy seed on the bun. Pickles, kind of like a Big Mac sauce. They call it a mustard sauce. A little bit of shredded lettuce and the crispy, crunchy onions, whatever he called it. Let's see how it goes. If I go to McDonald's, which is not often, I usually get a Big Mac. And I guess I should also probably compare this to like a quarter pounder. I haven't done a side-by-side comparison. What is the difference between a quarter pounder and this? Feels like, I don't think the quarter pounder has this type of sauce on it. I am really hungry, so it has that very distinct McDonald's flavor. Would I buy this again? Yeah, I'd buy it again. If I was really, really hungry. 2 patties is a lot. Let's give that a minute and then I'll try the Whopper. I rarely go to Burger King, even less than McDonald's. But I do like their burgers. Andrew says, happy birthday, Tony. Thank you. Thank you, Andrew, in advance. The baby is due 1 day before my birthday, Andrew. That'll be the best birthday present ever. Alexander says it's been almost a decade since an original animation made over 60 million in its opening weekend. I know people thought I was being crazy, too pessimistic, Andrew, but I see this a lot in a lot of stocks. People talk about expectations based on what they wish would happen instead of what is really based in reality. I put a lot of work into guessing what the box office is going to do. And I watch a ton of movies. Sometimes the kids' movies, I get out of my element. That's why I messed up on estimating the original Mario movie. And of course, Barbie, I'm not the target audience for that. So I didn't do a good job of estimating that one. We got the double Whopper. You have to double your Whopper to get the same 2 patties. This, I added cheese, which was an extra expense. The Whopper doesn't come with cheese. They only put one slice on here versus the Big Arch has 3 slices. We have more of a mayo sauce on here. And we have tomatoes in addition to the onion and pickles, which the Big Arch did not have tomatoes that I saw. So tomatoes makes a difference to me. Flame grilled burger taste comes through compared to the McDonald's, which has that traditional McDonald's taste, you know what I mean? You definitely get a different flavor profile in the mouth because one has that kind of Thousand Islands sauce, the Big Arch. This is much more mayo type sauce. How do you pick a winner between these two? Let's go back to the Big Arch. They're both good. I'd probably give Burger King 1 extra point for the flame grilled taste. I would order either one of these again. If I was in a pinch and I needed some fast food. It is messy. Yeah, I got a ton of napkins here. My body is like been needing food so bad. And I'll probably regret this tomorrow. Fast food. But it tastes good right now. Not as good as my homemade cast iron smash burgers, though. Or flame grilled smash burgers. This is a crutch. Like, you shouldn't be eating this every day. You can make your own at home. And when I make my own smash burgers, I typically make them without the bun for me, just to keep the carbs down. Alexander says on the box office Reddit page, there are data trackers that have reminders of him doing 18 million this weekend. Is that coming up? March 13th. It's possible, yeah. I have it at 30 million for the run. If the opening weekend is half that, yeah, your number's possible for sure. I usually do my update for next weekend, like March 13th. I'll get the pre-sale numbers and do an update on the weekend forecast around Tuesday or Wednesday. So this was my number from a week ago, and I need to update it. I always try and keep this current. So when I'm talking to you guys about box office, I'm not just making up numbers. I try and source my data. And if we need to change 29 million to a bigger number for the full run, we will. But you're asking, is 18 million possible opening weekend? Sure. Possible. Alexander says, I always thought the Whopper was better when I was a kid. I think where people get used to going for burgers largely is driven by family and friends. If your family was a Burger King family, then you probably never go to McDonald's. You know, we pretty much always just went to McDonald's. I wonder what the box office ended up being for Peaky Blinders. I think I saw someone talking about 30 million. I'm sorry for eating. You guys know I've had a long rule about not eating on camera, but we're making an exception tonight, like we did a few months ago for the Beyond Burger taste test. I got a question for you guys too. Yeah, they don't even have Peaky Blinders on here. Did any of y'all watch this movie? Somehow I missed it, I think. Oh, look at this, Dolly. My wife asked me today, we were hanging out. She's at work now. She was just looking on her phone, and I was working on some other stuff. She's like, are you going to see that movie Dolly? And I said, what is that about? She's like, I don't know, Dolly Parton or something. No, that's not Dolly Parton, babe. That's a horror movie. I didn't even know about this movie. I don't typically forecast limited releases, but if it's a horror movie, I'll probably go watch it if it's available in my area. What I wanted to ask you guys is if any of you have seen Ready or Not, because we have Ready or Not 2 coming out the same weekend as Project Hail Mary. And should I go watch Ready or Not, the first one? About some dude that marries a girl and he brings her home to meet the family, and they play a game, and the game is hide and seek, but she's the one that has to hide, and if they find you, they kill you. Ready or Not. Does that sound familiar to anybody? 2019. Didn't watch it. Jay, Culver's butter burgers and custard. I got one not far down the road from me. And when I had my corporate job, it was literally in the same park where all of our industrial buildings were. And I love Culver's. I don't know why I don't go there more. They have the concrete shakes. That's good stuff. I actually like Red Robin burgers too. Don't go there often. There's not one close by. I just don't go to that many burger places. If we go to one and we're like being picky, we'll often pick a Texas local favorite, which is called Mighty Fine. Mighty Fine Burgers. You can see them grind the meat right there. All the kitchen is glass. You can see them grind the meat. You can see them make the patties. You can see them cut the French fries with their machine. They use real Bluebell ice cream, the 5-gallon buckets of it to make their shakes right there. None of this artificial or pre-made crap. Mighty Fine Burgers. And if you get a burger and a fries, I'll be damned if you can drink a shake too. Like, you will be sick. It's so much food. And my younger son, I asked him not too long ago, where do you want to go for lunch? He's like, let's go to Mighty Fine. That was always our spot. Like, if I picked him up after school, where do you want to go? You want to get something to eat? Mighty Fine. Let's go to Mighty Fine. And in Texas also, we have Whataburger, of course. Whataburger, I mean, if you're looking at fast food, Whataburger versus McDonald's or Burger King, you got to go with Whataburger. You just got to. Mighty Fine is more of a sit-down type restaurant. Alexander says he watched Ready or Not, and it was a very fun movie. Thank you. I'm going to have to look and see if I can find it on streaming. Let's see what Reminders of Him is about. Did any of y'all go see Peaky Blinders or The Bride this weekend? I think I do remember seeing the trailer for this movie, and it looked good. All right, one burger down. The big arch is in the belly. I doubt that I can finish this double Whopper, and I'm not going to attempt to, but I'm going to keep eating until I feel sick. Let's see what else we got to talk about here. Japan, South Korea stocks tumble over 6% as oil tops $100. Great. We're going to have to check futures here in a minute. $109. Look at that damn move up there. The low back in December was 55. It's at 109. We've gone up 100% per barrel. January. Yeah, in December. That's crazy. I saw people posting from California ridiculous per gallon prices for gas. as you guys probably know, just be prepared. Oil prices going up is generally not good for the stock market. I've already seen the shorts are scared. Fuck, man. If the market goes down because the oil price is going up, there's no fucking shorts scared. Grow the fuck up. All right, let's get refill number 2 on the drink. The Dow and the S&P futures are down almost 2%. NASDAQ down 2.25%. I mean, I don't really want a sucky week in the market this week, but it is what it is. We gotta save women in Iran from wearing a burqa or whatever the hell that thing's called that they wear. Hijab. I'm not really up on that. What they call their dress code over there. I'm going to check metals in just a second. Let me see who's texting me. Oh, yeah. I love you too, wifey, if you're watching the live stream. Gold down 2%. Silver down 3.6%. That was recently. Not at all-time recent lows, though. Crypto, Bitcoin at 66,000. Anybody think that Ryan Cohen sold their Bitcoin? What do you think GameStop's going to do when they report their Q4 earnings here in a few weeks? What are we going to find out? GameStop investors are going crazy on social media because the stock is just not doing much. But that's fine with us because we don't draw imaginary lines, try and draw weird arrows on the chart. We just draw a demand zone and supply zone and map what the trend is, and we buy down in the green and we think about selling when it hits up in the red. Although, you know, I'm always, when you get to a point of selling, you must understand, why are you selling? Is the stock just moving because it's normal volatility, or is there real news, or is there social media hype? Like if Roaring Kitty came back, I probably wouldn't sell at 24 or 33. I might see where it goes. Maybe we get another run up to 50 or 60. If Roaring Kitty comes back, like if that kind of volatility reappears. Other than that, you know, I sold back in May of last year at 33, rebought down here, sold a little bit at 24.32 back in January, end of January. I didn't quite get the top here of 27, but I watched it retrace and then come back up, and I was like, we gotta take some off and wait for the next move down, and I'll rebuy when that next move down happens. That zone is between 18.75 and $20. 20, let's say 20.25. And maybe it never gets down there again, and that's fine. I got shares and I got warrants, so if it doesn't go down lower, I got a position I'm happy with. If it does retrace, well, I took some profits off and I can buy a little more if it comes back down. I'm very chill on this play. It's, for me, not a short squeeze play. It's just a bet on volatility and Ryan Cohen eventually doing something with that big cash pile that he has. But look, that the market might have to crash for him to do something. It might have to crash, and that means GameStop would go down. And I'm okay with that. That's why I'm trying to be careful about my entry. I don't want to be moved out of the play out of fear because the market's crashing and it drops to whatever, below my cost basis. I want a nice, comfortable cost basis. And I believe Ryan Cohen's going to do something interesting with the cash. Look, a lot of people don't. That's your choice. I'm not here to sell you on anything. You make up your own mind. I'm telling you what I'm doing. Well, how do you defend that, Tony? It's a speculative trade, right? We're speculating here. We're hanging our ass out the window. We don't know what's going to happen. There's no defendable thesis. It's a trust that he's going to do something intelligent with the money. If he doesn't, I will exit the trade. That's not the end of the world for me. If he does something dumb, I will exit the trade. But I don't think that that's going to happen. I'm more positive than that. Mr. Premium says, win AMC Moon. I don't know. That's not a talking point in my channel. What are the pumper channels saying, Mr. Premium? I don't even own AMC. I am waiting for a good entry as they finish up this offering, and then maybe I'll roll the dice. But I've been telling y'all for a long time the price was coming down, coming down, coming down, coming down. Not just telling you, but warning you in advance that it was going to go way down. We just park our cash or invest it somewhere else. Be patient. Wait for the right moment, if that moment ever presents itself. And then, look, if I get in at $1 and it goes to $2, as box office improves and the fear of the dilution get behind us, great. If it goes to 3, 5, 10, because Roaring Kitty comes back, beautiful. I don't have any crazy expectations. I just like to make a profit on a high volatility speculative trade. You catch the shorts off guard when something happens, but you got to be damn smart about your entry. There's a reason there's so many shares short. They're not scared. You guys realize that by now, right? All these people, the shorts are scared. No, they're fucking not. There's a reason they keep increasing the short. And I'll give you a hint. It's not because they're scared. What we want to do is time our entry around the point that they're going to be wrong, though. All these people that think they're going to be wrong, but they've got a $2, $3, $5, $10, $15 cost average, they're probably not going to get made whole. Those of us that use a little bit of patience, no emotion, common sense, don't run a cult or tell people to block everyone else for having a different opinion, we're going to come in and get a good entry, and we got a reasonable chance of making some good money. Life is about that, making money. Mr. Premium says he's shorting at this thing going to zero. I don't really see a short-term defendable thesis for it going to zero. They got lenders that are willing to work with the company to move maturities. They just decrease the 2027 debt. Let me not make a price prediction. I try not to do that. The box office is going to get considerably better starting in Q2, starting beginning of April, Q2 through Q4. It's not going to be a bad news story for AMC in terms of box office or cash flow once you get into April. It's just not. it's not, the short argument kind of evaporates once we get out of this quarter until next year, Q1. We got to see what that looks like. Unless, like I said, unless AMC has some rug pull planned that I don't know about. Like they could, even if I went in at $1, they could still rug pull me with a surprise announcement that they want to schedule a vote for a reverse split. I'm not predicting that. I'm not super worried about it, but I wouldn't ignore it either as like something you should factor into your risk matrix if you're trying to go long. I will certainly consider it as something I need to think about if I go long. Right now, I'm just on the sidelines. And Mr. Premium, I'm sure you would agree with me right now, knowing what we know about Q1 box office and cash burn and ongoing ATM. There are no shorts that are scared at the moment. But, I mean, can I convince you that there is a pivot point coming up where it becomes a little more precarious to stay short? Can I convince you that once the exchangeable notes are exchanged and no more convertible bond hedging is going on, that short interest that we see right now, it's going to dramatically drop in the coming weeks, coming months? Between the bond hedge going away and the ATM finishing up and box office getting better, I don't think this will be a smart short after a couple weeks. Unless AMC does something dumb like a rug pull corporate announcement. Kenneth says, is it the right time to enter AMC? I'm still on the sideline. Kenneth, I'm still waiting for an optimal entry. It could go below $1. I don't know. I'm not making any price predictions. We got to see when I go back and watch the beginning of this live stream. I went through this chart. I went through the blue line. I went through how I think the ATM is almost done. But does that mean anything? The ATM's almost done. Does that mean anything? If we look back at 2025, the ATM was done by January 16th. It lasted 6 weeks. The price fell just like right now. But after the ATM was done, the price still went all the way down from 360 to 245. So like, even if I tell you it's going to get better when the ATM is done, what does the past tell me? That didn't happen last year. It didn't start getting better till we got into Q2. So I don't really know what's going to happen. If the ATM's done on Monday, the price could still go down for the rest of March. And then maybe you get a little Q2 excitement. There was never enough for me to be excited about last year. However, I mean, I would have taken a trade from $2.45 to $4. That would have been a fine trade for me. In and out. Not even 2 months. Almost double your money. I would have been happy with that. But I was very worried last year that the company was out of shares. So I didn't take the trade all last year. I thought they would schedule the vote in June or July, and they kept on delay, telling us anything, and then they finally announced it for December. All of that's behind us now for the moment. I think there'll be a short-term opportunity for people like me that want to go long, want to take a chance, want to roll the dice, want to gamble on a high volatility, highly speculative trade. I think there'll be a magic moment unless AMC rug pulls us with some announcement that I'm not expecting. The RS. If there were any shorts, they're probably very convinced that a reverse split's coming because they got to know the box office is getting better. You'd be dumb to think it's not. You'd be dumb to think cash flow is going to be a problem the rest of this year. But you want to bet on a RS, I mean, well, then you're speculating on the downside that there's no guarantee there's a RS. You bears. Maybe you'll get it, maybe you won't. I don't know. Mr. Premium says retail is out of money. I mean, I see 5 people posting their buys every week. Those 5 aren't out of money. HST Gaming says, I'm sure you covered it, but how did the movies this weekend stack up? If you were in my Discord, I predicted about a 90 million weekend. And we came in at 95. I think I told them on Wednesday, expect around a $90 million weekend. 95 is good. It slightly beat my best guess. So I'm happy with that. I still think we're on track for 1.6 billion Q1. That will be a cash burn, but not as bad as last year. And Box Office Theory has tracking similar to what I've been telling you guys for a long time. 1.6 billion for Q1, 9.5 billion for 2026. Although there are other analysts that think we could exceed 10 billion, so we'll see. Mr. Premium says, where is Trey, Matt, TMI, Lou? Lou's dead, rest his soul. Everybody else moved on. You're right. They weren't interested in covering it if it's not popular. I don't cover it because it's popular. I cover movies because I like movies. I'm invested in other companies in the industry, profitable ones. We've traded Cinemark, we've traded IMAX, we've traded Marcus Corp. I'm not opposed to trading AMC, but I am opposed to losing money. So it's just counting the days, counting the weeks, counting the months till there's a possibility that we have an edge. A lot of things have changed from this point last year. I'm not saying that the long-term risk is out of the play. Don't get me wrong. Go read the risk factors in the 10K. There's a lot of long-term risk. And all of it ties to what is the box office going to do. AMC needs revenue, not box office. They need revenue. This is their words. They need revenue similar to pre-pandemic. So you got to ask yourself, what kind of box office gets them that revenue? For me, that answer is somewhere around 10.4 billion. Some problems start going away. Like the big problem right now is cash burn every Q1. That will kill your damn year. So we got to get more movies in Q1, or we need the entire box office to throw off enough cash that AMC can save money in Q4 to not have to do a cash raise in Q1. These equity raises every Q1 are killing us. Like retail trying to hold through it. You're getting slaughtered. Not because AMC is trying to slaughter you, not because management is corrupt, not because management is working with the shorts. It's because the box office is not big enough for them to generate positive free cash flow. I mean, all you have to use is basic math and logic. All the numbers are available to you, and AMC tells you in the 10K, Q1 is often a problem for us in terms of working capital. I'm not just making up stories here, guys. AMC tells you this stuff. You can't do well when you're burning 400 million, 200 million every Q1, 237. It doesn't matter if you're break even or if you're positive 40 Q2 through Q4. This will kill you. So we need to get higher box office. That's all. The good news, what's the good news? Things are going to be better starting Q2, and I think that if you've been patient and waiting, you might have an opportunity for a swing trade. And then we got to pay really close attention to Q1 next year, because if I don't have a forecast yet for Q1 next year, but if it's not good, here we go, back in the same cash burn boat. But you won't have to hear me bitching about anything probably for the rest of this year. All the bad news, we were waiting on exchangeable notes, being out of shares, needing to raise cash for Q, and all that should be behind us very soon. And then we can just talk about fun movies. Positive free cash flow. Even if it's break-even free cash flow, that's better than the alternative. Cam says, as much as it sucks to get the stock prices low, at least it helped me get my cost average down. Yeah, I mean, that is a plus. If you're determined to stay in the trade and roll the dice, that is an opportunity. I definitely have worked with people, especially after the AMC ape debacle, that talked to us about trading strategies, get their brain wrapped around a different way to think about trading. That I'm not going to go through it all on tonight's live stream, but they were in the whole 5 or 6 figures that completely repaired their position just trading AMC. But you got to let go of this, I'm only going to hold and I'm only going to cost average down. You better fucking wake up about how to trade the stock or how to run the wheel on the stock in high volatility periods, if you want a prayer of fixing your position. Or you could pray on a MOAS, but I let that go years ago, and it's only been beneficial. Same with everybody that I know that let it go. I know a lot of successful AMC traders in the last 3 years. None of them are trading it for a MOAS. And look at the general trend of the stock. It's down, but I know a lot of people that made a lot of money in the last 3 years going long at the right time and then selling at the right time and then wait and then go long again at the bottom. Same thing I've been doing with GameStop for years. You got to let the social media bullshit go. I'm not saying sell your stock. I'm not saying don't buy it. I'm not saying it's going bankrupt. I'm not negative on the company. I'm just saying you can make smarter decisions if you understand what's going on. Most of social media has no clue what's going on. BW says, what would you need to see to start to believe in a squeeze like 5 years ago? Massive positive social media sentiment change. BW. Right now, look, if I told you guys this even years ago, 2021, 2022, people asked, what would make you get out of this play? And one of my answers was, when people start turning against this company, that would be a problem for me. And why is that a problem? Because people are selling, even though you guys think no one sold. Yeah, a lot of people sold. What would make me believe that it could squeeze again? Short interest would need to be high. It is high right now, and you'd have to have some catalyst, a news drop, a roaring kitty come back, anything really that kicks the price moving up and gets social media sentiment changed in a different direction. There's been a lot of people who've been only positive for the last 5 years, and that hasn't really worked in their favor. Like, you got to address reality when the price is going down. There's no reason to be positive. That's the time to get smart. But when it flips, if it flips, that's when you go in with your money and make money on a short squeeze. Like I told you guys back in 2024, I bought at that low in April, whenever it was, April, May. And I was running the wheel on AMC, selling covered calls, selling cash cured puts, get a position, then sell covered calls, make money on options premium both ways. And then Roaring Kitty came back. I was like, oh shit, I've got covered calls out there and I wasn't selling my strikes based on a short squeeze. So I'm likely going to lose my shares at a profit, which is fine. But what if it goes higher than my strike price? If you are aware of this stuff and if you're paying attention, you just go buy some. As soon as you see Roaring Kitty come back, you go buy some long calls. I made 1,000% on those call options. That was the only time I bought call options in 2024 when Roaring Kitty came back. You see people buying the call options every week, every month, losing their ass. No, you got to be intelligent about this stuff. The only people making money on options most of the time is those of us that are selling them. But you must be able to recognize when sentiment flips. And then you want to be riding those calls up with reasonable strikes, right? Not $80 strikes. So that's kind of what if Roaring Kitty comes back for GameStop, I'd wave the flag, the kitty flag, and I would expect AMC to move with it. That'd be cool with me. But I don't plan my day around that. I don't plan my content around that. You guys never hear me talking about it. It's a nice to have if it happens. Hope it does. Yeah, a black swan will bring it back. Stimulus checks, PPP loans, grants. I mean, those were big back in 2021, right? There's just, I've said often, we're not in 2021 anymore. And I mean that in so many ways. We're not at GameStop 120%, 140% short interest. We're not at a point where everybody's sitting at home with nothing to do but trade and flush with money from the government. We're not in 2021. You need to wake up to the new reality and get more intelligent about your trading to improve your prospects. Number one, you don't want to hold something that is going down. You can always buy tomorrow if it changes. But this belief that you must hold something that is circling the drain, I don't get it. People get really mad at me on social media for saying I don't want to hold something that is going down. I'm not corporate charity. Like I said, I will buy when I see if it's a speculative stock, I will buy when I think that most of the risk has been taken out of the play. But Tony, if everyone did like you, company would go bankrupt. Well, don't worry. Not everybody's going to do like me. There's plenty of pumpers on social media to make sure that never happens. I think we talked about everything on the agenda for tonight. Movies, box office, expectations for the rest of this quarter. Things are going to get better starting in April. We have Super Mario Galaxy, April 1st. What do I have predicted for that? I will update it. But I have 500 million just for that movie. Domestic. '23 film did 574 domestic. It could do over 500. Could do less, but I think 500 for now is a good placeholder. I have 250 million for Michael. I think that movie is going to surprise people with its wide appeal. Hopefully. Devil Wears Prada, 50 million. Mortal Kombat, 130 million. Star Wars, Mandalorian, 250 million. These are domestic. Toy Story 5, I have at 365. Supergirl, 255, but that comes at the end of the quarter. So a lot of this number won't be captured. And this is probably the one that I'm the least sure about, but it's a long way away. So we'll refine that number. Just on the full title, the wide releases, that gets us to almost let's say 2.1 billion. Then you have all of the limited releases, all the carryover from Q1. I think, $2.6 billion Q2 is not out of the question. But if things change as numbers come in, I'll, of course, let y'all know. We're still early. Still early to be trying to estimate it. But I'm certain it's going to be a great quarter. MobX, Andrew. All right, let's take a look. Oh yeah, this is that one that had that big move up in the middle of the week. It went from 17 cents to $1.33. They design, develop, and sell components for advanced wireless and wired connectivity, radio frequency switching. Didn't they get an Army contract or something too? Aerospace, defense, and other markets. Drones. All right. So the news is making this thing hot right now. I'm pretty sure they got a contract, but it's not jumping out at me on here. Let's check something here real quick before we wrap up. Mobix. Let's just see how they're doing in general. Negative net income. Sorry, let's go to the income statement. Revenue, a nominal amount of revenue, under 2 million per quarter. Operating income negative, net income negative, free cash flow negative. Operating and profit margins, nothing to write home about. Cash, 270,000. Total assets 32, total liabilities 28. Current 2.87, current liabilities 25. Not good. I mean, this company is got some problems, but it's hot in the news right now. So I would say trade the news and beware the financials. Navy Tomahawk component order. Did they tell us what the expected revenue is? The timeline. Significant PO for components for the Tomahawk cruise missile. We like that. I want to see in these announcements when, how much. It's not jumping out at me. And that's automatically like a yellow flag for me. I need more details to evaluate this. What is the impact? When is the impact? The financials are a bit of a mess. And the other thing that we would just want to look at real quick is any filings. OBX. Let's check dilution tracker and see if they have. You can see the dilution trend. The company has 1.5 months of cash left based on their cash burn. They got SPAC warrants at $5.79. Other warrants, other warrants, other warrants, other warrants, other warrants. Doesn't say how many of those are exercised unless I log in. There is a ATM for 1.3 million back in October. I don't know if that is finished yet. And had at one point a SPA, share purchase agreement. I'm just going to say, I don't want to rain on the parade. Trade the chart, not trade the chart, trade the news, beware the financials. Not enough info for me to give any sort of green flag to the financials. I see a lot of red and yellow flags. So at some point, it is my prediction that this excitement will bleed off and it's going to come all the way back down. As long as the war is going on and this kind of news is exciting everybody, or if there were to be more news about more orders, that would be great for this stock. But we need details. When's the revenue coming? How much? Then I can apply that to the financials and start figuring stuff out. Right now, I got jack shit. I got a headline. It's a good headline, but I can't say how impactful it is. Be cautious, yeah. All right, ladies and gents, I'm going to finish the Whopper. I'm going to go maybe try and watch Ready or Not to get ready for that movie in 2 weeks. Thanks for hanging out. Let me know in the comments afterwards if you've tried the Big Arch and if you like it better than the Whopper. Let's pray for war to end soon. Pray for oil prices to come down. Pray for the innocent. Be good to one another. You out on social media. Just be aware there are a wide variety of people with different opinions. Have discussions with people. You don't need to hate on them. You don't need to insult them. Everybody learns by talking, but nobody learns by insulting. And please, for the love of God, don't be one of those dipshits that tells people to block everyone else. That's the biggest red flag I have out there. If someone is telling you to block people, look, if they're evil people, if they're like negative Nancys, all they're doing is insulting you, doxing, threatening, yes, block them. But they have a different opinion on a stock. Use that opportunity to engage in some dialogue, challenge your own beliefs, see if your DD holds up. Talk to people. That is how you learn, not blocking. People telling you to block people, you should be very concerned about those people and what their real motives are. Have a good night. We'll see you mañana.
Up and to the right. Up and to the right. Up and to the right. Hello, millionaires. Short screenplays, one fortune flip. GameStop's journey, an epic trip. From humble roots to the moon we fly. A company's dream will amplify. Ready warriors, keyboards in hand. With their eyes on the prize, they took a stand. No one's selling, we're here to fight. How does it go? Up and to the right, up and to the right. We're in for the ride. It's us on the right, it can't be denied. Up and to the right, through the day and night. Together we'll soar, no asses in sight. It's us on the rise, it can't be denied. Up and to the right, through the day retail army, we've already won. With every share, we'll never stop. Investors say we love the stock. Up and to the right, we're in for the ride. It's time's on the rise, it can't be denied. Up and to the right, through the day and night. Together we'll soar. Up and to the right. Up and to the right. We're in for the ride. Together we'll soar. Up and to the right.
Surprise!
We're gonna win.